The Press Box presents Cage Side with Christopher James. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to another exciting episode of Cage Side with Christopher James. I am Christopher James, and as always, right here next to me is my partner in crime, Dion DeLauder. Dion, man, Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year. Did you have a good holiday?
I had a great holiday, had a lot of fun, ate a lot of food, put on a little bit of belly. I'm going to lose it, but you know, what about you? What'd you do?
Sat at home with the family, pretty much. Look back on the last year and really looking forward to 2013.
Yeah, and 2013 is going to be a big year, not just for you and me, but for MMA in general. And we got a big show today, so let's jump right in. Tell everybody what's going on this week. We're going to have an interview with the one and only, the man that founded American Top Team. That's right, ATT, baby. And it's not the phone company, it's American Top Team. Ricardo Liborio is going to be on the show with us today. And somebody that trains down in his school, he's a former XFC fighter. He's been on the Ultimate Fighter. You know who I'm talking about.
Micah Miller.
Micah Miller, that's right, man. He is a tough guy, and he's making his way back into the cage. Plus, we're going to have a little rant on something that's pissing me off, and we're going to preview the year 2013. So we're going to do all that when we come back, so stay tuned right here. Cage Side with Christopher James. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Michael Chavello. You're watching Cage Side with Christopher James.
Cage Side with Christopher James is brought to you by The Press Box and Eric J. Herman, attorney at law. And for stuff you didn't see on today's show, make sure you go to our Facebook page, Cage Side with Christopher James, for behind-the-scenes footage and a little bit of blooper stuff. Hey, welcome back to Cage Side with Christopher James, man, and Dion. We're ready to start this party, man. What's coming up?
Well, Chris, you were just down in Coconut Creek.
That's true.
Down at ATT. You had a special guest that you did an interview with.
That's right, man. I was American Top Team, the biggest chain of schools in the world, and I got to speak to the man who put it all together. So check out this piece right now with my good friend, Ricardo Liborio. I am sitting here with the man, the myth, the founder of the largest...
The old guy, just the old man. That's it.
The founder of the largest chain of MMA schools in America, no doubt, with some of the best fighters you're going to see anywhere in the world. It's American Top Team, Coconut Creek, the flagship school, and this is the one and only Ricardo Liborio. Ricardo, man, how are you?
Glad you're here, man. I'm great, thank you.
Well, thanks for having us in the school today. You know, got to see a lot of...
You're home here, you know that.
It feels great to be here. You know, I haven't been here before, and school is huge. You got, you know, and I came in on a good day, man. Everybody's here.
Everybody's here, yeah.
So tell us what's been going on in American Top Team, you know, not just here, but all across the country since I last saw you.
Yeah, American Top Team is spread out in a chain to mixed martial arts gyms and certifications. We have a bunch of gyms that are certified and licensed to schools all over the country, and in Australia and in England, and there's in Canada. It's all over the place, and it's just pretty good to spread out the word and what do we do and have all these people coming from all over the place. But at the same time, it's too much traveling. That's the only thing that I have to complain about. Everything else is awesome. You hear this all night.
That's great. Now, you know, you have all the schools now. From what I know of you, you're not just telling people, yeah, put my name on your front door and call American Top Team. You're actually involved, and you go to all the schools, any school that has your name on it.
Every school I go every year. At least 6 months we've got to go there, and everybody's going. You see, Mike Brown now is one of the coaches, and we have Jeff. He's, you know, in one point of his career is going to start taking over. It's this old generation now that's considered old. We're being open for 10 years, and we've been in America for more than 12 years. And now this first generation started getting older and started coaching. And those guys have to travel. I'm too old to travel now. So those guys are taking over, and they go there and do the seminars and actually supervise and see how everything goes. But yeah, we restrict a lot, we filter a lot who can be American Top Team or not. And there is a long contract that any moment, you know, if you screw up with a name, you know, we're taking
Take your name back.
That's definitely, we can't deputize the name. That's more important.
Now, a few years ago, I wish I could remember the fighter. He said he was training one of your schools, I want to say in Port St. Lucie, and he wanted to fight an American Top Team guy from like Seattle, Washington, and he was told no. Do you guys still do that? I mean, if they're not in the same school?
The professional fighters, yes, we do in a certain way, but definitely, you see that in Florida, the market has started to cannibalize itself. It's just too small for us right now, just Florida. The Florida events, you know, we're having the best gyms, or the guys that are more dedicated. You're coming from American Top Team, and American Top Team schools, you know, facing each other, if it's in a professional way without any bad blood, definitely you gotta let it go. Especially in the amateur level. In a professional level, you can manage a little bit better. You know, you can throw this overseas, you can throw this in the West Coast, in the Midwest, the whole entire country there. But still, you know, for Florida, we're kind of big.
No, you guys are huge.
Yeah.
So, you know, but if you had let's say you had a fighter here at Coconut Creek, and an organization wanted one of the fighters here from Coconut Creek to fight an American Top Team guy from Los Angeles, California, and they wanted to fight for a title, do you let that go?
I think you got to talk about it. The major point is not create a bad blood between the schools or the system, but that is an individual sport. In one point, if I have two of the best guys in the world, unfortunately, they're going to end up fighting. And that's what it is, you know. But the point is, you know, when we have American Top Team in both sides of the ring, that means that we're doing a great job, right?
That's right. It means you're dominating the world.
So from that, you know, my philosophy is that there's no bad blood. Of course, I'm not going to allow the guy who's from here at Coconut Creek fight the guys from Coconut Creek unless they mutually agree doing it. You know, as for belt, as for real money, as improve their quality of life. And there's nothing you can do about it. You don't got to let it go.
At the end of the day, they still have to maintain.
But in the end of the day, you're going to have to talk about this.
Right.
Chris, the most important thing is to talk about it. Bring the common sense into this thing, and okay, this is opportunity. Who's going to miss the opportunity? You know, and if you both agree and not missing the opportunity, all right, guys, that's a blast right there. You know, the bad blood that we don't want to create it and bring in the first place. You know, it's talk. That's the most important thing.
All right, so now, down here training at your school right now is notorious Nick Newell, congenital amputee, missing part of his left arm. He's getting ready to fight for an XFC title, and he said he's been treated like a king here. So what have you seen in this kid in your own personal experience?
This kid is I personally mingle a lot with his kids because I don't know if you met my daughter's blind.
Yes.
And when she was 2 years old, she had passed a bunch of surgeries. She ended up blind in a situation. And it was a very traumatic experience, but you really can't stop, man. You know, you learn this a lot in martial arts. You learn a lot of this in the fighting. That's right. You gotta keep going. There's nothing you can do. Just put your head up and just keep going. You know, they have bad days, but doesn't mean that bad days doesn't mean that you stop doing what you love to do it, or you're going to be doing what is the most important for your family. And what this kid is proving to everybody is that it doesn't really matter what's going on, you know. And in my personal, like this, he's a great example for everybody. He's out there right now with big problems and think that this is the worst problem that I have in the world. And see a kid like that, you know, not just surviving, doing better than surviving, doing better than people that have completely helped, you know, with great opportunities, with financial background, with educational background, and boom, they fall into drugs or something like that. You know, it's mind, something in their mind.
I mean, the kid's 8-0. He's only been out of the first round one time in his professional career, and now he's fighting for a title. I know you're watching him roll around, so forget the part about him only having the one arm. What do you think of his skills?
I think he's amazing. I saw some of the trainings here, man, with guys that are very, very capable. I tell you, high-level guys with a huge reputation. That he was really training more than well. I tell you this, more than well, in many aspects of the game, not just grappling, not just wrestling, you know, not just striking, but he really is. You know, first of all, he's a warrior. He don't quit. He's always going to be. He's going to be on your tail, man. You know, he's never going to stop. He's going to make sure that he's going to be there. You better be prepared because he's one of those guys that he trains hard. He's very responsible. He's here. We're here 8:30 in the morning. You know, I called him last night after I left 9:30 at night. I said, "Hey, Tim or Nick, we're going to have a drills tomorrow morning 9 o'clock." He was here at 9 o'clock. He was doing the other training. He did. That proves, you know, the kind of level that this kid wants to achieve. You know, what he wants to do it. I think he has a go. Once he has a go, and he knows exactly what to do, you know, to try to achieve this goal. This kid is. There's no way for him to not to be a winner. As a winner, right there. You know, doesn't mean that he's going to lose. I mean that it doesn't matter if you're going to lose or not. He's not going to stop trying to win.
No,
That's the measure for it.
He's already a winner,
Exactly.
whether or not he comes home with the belt. I understand what you're saying. So, since I first met you, you've gotten a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Do you ever think it's going to be too much?
Sometimes you think it's too much, but it's a matter of perception. What I think is too much for Lambert, this is nothing, peanuts. And it's a matter of finding people that can actually organize that is not too much anymore. It's actually the right place. You know, it's a matter of people in place and administration skills. That, I believe me, I'm not the best one, but I'm open-minded to actually bring people in that actually going to be doing the job. You know, and for us, it's just keep doing it. I believe in punch the clock, work. I'm here 8:30 in the morning. I leave 9:30 at night. Man, and who's coming over here is going to see my face. You know, that's what I do, and I love doing it. So I don't think we're going anywhere.
I don't think so either, and I'm glad that you're here today, and I'm glad that you're doing what you do, because I can see that it makes you happy.
It does. It does. My whole family's here. This is my family, and that's what I do for living, for life, for living, and for everything. This is what I care for my life.
Well, like I said, I want to say thank you for inviting us into your home, man. I love you, man. You're one of my favorite people in the world. Well, you got it, kids, right there. Ricardo Liborio, American Top Team. The two things go together hand in hand. Ricardo, American Top Team. If you don't hear Ricardo, then it's probably not a real American Top Team deal. So make sure you check it out. Anyway, right here for my good friend Ricardo Liborio, your cage side with Christopher James. Well, man, that was a great interview. I love that guy. Dion, what'd you think of Ricardo Liborio, buddy?
Great interview. The guy's very knowledgeable, and it's obvious why he's been doing it this long. But I got one question for you, Chris. I don't know if your fans at home saw this, but who was that behind you guys doing flips? And if you look right between you guys, there's a guy doing flips and hitting the mat. What was going on with that back there?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because he's the next interview we got coming up right here. He's a fighter at American Top Team. He's fought for the XFC, and that was him practicing being a professional wrestler because he loves it. So right now, let's take you to this piece with Micah Miller. Christopher James here at American Top Team in Coconut Creek, Florida. I'm standing here with a XFC veteran and American Top Team student, the one and only Micah Miller. Man, Micah, first of all, man, it's been a while. How are you?
Doing good. It has been a while. I took some time off after the Ultimate Fighter, but I'm back training and everything's good.
So what's coming up for you next on your schedule as far as fights back in MMA?
I'm not sure. I don't have anything scheduled right now because I decided I'm going to go up a weight class or two. You know, I don't really know what weight I'm going to fight at right now, but I think I'm just done with 145. So yeah, I'm going to go up.
You're a big guy at 145. So what do you normally walk around at? So you're looking maybe 170?
I walk around at about 170. So we'll see how I can take to weightlifting and how I can put the mass on. Of course, everything's going to be done naturally, so there's not going to be, if I can't go up 2 weight classes, then I can't. I'm just going to lift as hard as I can, fill out my frame as naturally as I can, and see where I'm at, and wherever I'm at, I'm going to fight. So
maybe just 1 weight class going up to 155.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
That's awesome. So it's Halloween time here at American Top Team, and they have a big party, which I'm going to miss tonight, which stinks. But
oh man,
I hear that you're going to be doing a little professional wrestling, man. What's going on with that?
Yeah, there is a little professional wrestling going on here. Every year at American Top Team, we do a Halloween wrestling match. And, I've always been a huge pro wrestling fan, my whole life. So it's just a chance for me to come out here and just to live a fantasy for one night, So it's going to be a lot of fun. The kids love it, and it's a great time every year.
Okay, so you said you're a huge pro wrestling fan. Who's your favorite pro wrestler all time?
Shawn Michaels. All time.
The Heartbreak Kid.
Heartbreak Kid.
The Showstopper.
Showstopper. Main event. The icon. He's the man.
He's the man. So, do you have a character that you're going to be playing tonight in the wrestling?
I do, but you're going to have to wait and see tonight.
Well, I'm not going to be here.
The video will be on the internet.
Oh my!
It's going to go viral.
It's going to go viral.
I'm the next King Mo. Dual threat.
Watch out! The next King Mo. So he's going to be doing pro wrestling and MMA.
That's right.
And we don't know what weight class, but apparently it's going to happen. And when he goes wrestling, there is no weight class.
That's right.
All right, I'm just going to ask you one other question about the wrestling. Are you going to be a heel or are you going to be a baby face?
Oh, I'm a baby face all the way. All the way.
I see. I picture you coming out as the heel.
I
like the Showstopper and the Montreal Screwjob.
Now I have a persona planned out for either scenario, but we have a great roster of heels with Blake Bowman and John Hartnett. They're playing the heels tonight, so I'm going to have to be a baby face for the kids, and I can do both. So it's going to be fun.
All right, so you don't know when you're fighting again, but you're coming back, different weight class. Everything else going good? You're healthy? You're feeling right and ready to roll?
Yeah, I feel really good, and now is the time to really like skill build and really strength build and just kind of like set a new template and kind of retool. And then once I feel comfortable with my weight and I'm where I want to be and I've filled my frame out a little more, then I'll start looking to take a fight, and embark on a new part of my career. So I'm looking forward to it.
So you say rebuild on your skills. Is there a particular area that you think you need to work on more than others?
No, not rebuild skills in that way necessarily. More so because I'm going to be going up. So I need to get used to those body types, as opposed to the body types I was facing at 145. I was always so much taller. I would still be taller at 55, but the body types and the weight is so much different. So just getting used to that, and different techniques, work well with bigger guys and smaller guys, vice versa. So just adjusting to the new weight, is what I meant by that. So.
All right, well that's good, man. I'm glad we got I'm glad we got a second to talk to you, man, because it's been a while since we've seen you. We were on our way down here to do interviews, and my camera guy said, "What's going on with Micah Miller?" And now, Ken, we know the answer. What's going on with Micah Miller? Man, I'm really glad I got to talk to Micah Miller. A good guy. Hope to see him back in the cage soon. Hopefully in an XFC cage, but you just never know. What'd you think of that guy?
Good interview. Definitely interested in watching what he's got going on with the wrestling cage back there. But something he said that surprised me is he talked about going up a weight class, maybe even two. Normally you hear about guys dropping in a weight class. Very rarely do you hear anybody talking about going up a weight class unless it's later in their career.
Yeah, and it's strange because it's one of those things you don't see a lot of guys jumping up 2 weight classes, let alone 1.
Right.
But he's a small frame, tall guy, so I don't know if 170 is going to be where he should be, but 155 would probably be a good spot for him. That's what I think. So, hopefully we'll see him soon getting back in the cage for anybody, because he's a great fighter. Now, we got some other stuff coming up here, but we can't do that now because we got to pay the bill. So stay tuned. Cage Side with Christopher James will be right back. Walter's Press Box, Tampa's #1 sports bar for over 20 years. The Press Box, Tampa's favorite place to watch the big game and party. We show all the NFL games and every other major sporting event in the world, including MMA. (222) South Dale Mabry Highway, Tampa, Florida.
Come on down and see us at the Press Box.
Do you need a criminal attorney? Call Eric J. Herman, attorney at law. Non-attorney spokesperson. Hey, welcome back to Cage Side with Christopher James. We got something to talk about right now, and it's big. It's the year 2013, and there's big things coming on the MMA landscape. A lot of changes going on in the MMA world. And, the first one we're going to talk about is Bellator. Bellator jumped over from MTV2, and they're moving up to the big station, Spike TV, man. And you're kind of a big fan of Bellator, so talk to me.
Well, I think it's a great play for Bellator. They're going to get a lot more exposure. They're going to fill into that time slot that the UFC left void when they made their move to go over to the Fuel and Fox Network. So for them, they've got a lot of things that they're doing, little things differently than the UFC, as we talked about a lot of times on the show.
Always.
But I think it's a win-win. It gives them more exposure to a broader fan base. It lets them fill that void that the UFC used to have. And I think it's good for the sport in general, get some more publicity.
Yeah, I have a little different take. I do think it's good for the sport, when any organization is moving around and getting on a bigger network. For me, I've always been, the tournament style that Bellator does and some of the things they do. One of the things I do not like about Bellator is I feel that sometimes they mismatch their fights, where you could tell that this is the guy that they're pushing. And I think if they stay on that same formula, all the extra viewers that they're going to get, and some of them are going to be by accident, to be quite honest with you, that people are going to tune into Bellator. But I think this is the opportunity for them to match their fights better. And I know you and I have talked about before, and you agree to some point of it. I mean, they do put on good fights. They have some great talent. But when you take a guy like an Eddie Alvarez, who we don't even know is going to be back there yet, and you put him in a fight with somebody that really shouldn't be there, while granted they're pushing Eddie Alvarez, it takes away a little bit of credibility in my eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what goes back to the tournament style. I mean, it might be the case, but if that's who ends up in the same bracket, he's going to match up with that guy. That's who he's going to fight. If it's a lopsided match, it is what it is. That's the penalty of the tournament play. But at the same time, it avoids some of the circumstances we're seeing with the UFC, which we're going to talk about, where
absolutely.
Guys are getting title opportunities and title fights that they probably shouldn't deserve anyway. So it's a catch-22, but regardless, I think it's going to be a great play for Bellator, and look for big things from those guys in 2015.
Yeah, and for me, I hope they're successful at what they do, because again, this is a big step. And you know, the thing about MMA is a company like Bellator or XFC or anybody, when they take a big step forward and then they falter, it doesn't just hurt them; it hurts the sport of MMA
and everybody involved.
Right, and I don't want MMA to get hurt anymore. There's too many people out there that still want to rag on it and ban on it, and it's not that time anymore. This is time to move forward. So I'm hoping Bellator takes this ball and they run with it and they do the right thing, because it's great for the whole sport. You know what I mean?
I agree. Tell us about Ronda Rousey.
Oh, why you get me started on that?
That's the button right there.
Oh,
you come into the league with a belt.
Yeah, and actually, there's been a problem. They did this with Jose Aldo, and they did it with
Dominic
Cruz when they brought him over from the WEC and they started these weight divisions. They gifted them a title, and now they just did with Ronda Rousey being the first woman in UFC. And there's something wrong with that. Fighters out there are working hard every single day to get a title shot, to get put up there and get that notoriety. And then Ronda Rousey, nothing against her, because she's an amazing fighter. She's 6-0 in Strikeforce, but she's 0-0 in the UFC, but she's the title holder. It just doesn't vibe in my book. I don't care what anybody says about this as a business and it's marketing. Ronda Rousey didn't need the belt to be popular.
Right.
And that's what people are saying, well, it's business, you got to make her more popular. Do you agree with that?
I think it's a good move for them to bring her over to the UFC and for the UFC to capitalize on some of the success the women's market, the female fighters have had, and to really help grow that market. That we've always said it for a long time. They've got to get on board with the female fights in order to help the female market.
Right, and Dana was always adamant, I'm never putting females in.
Yeah,
so.
Well, you see him switch sides on that. They're doing what the dollars say.
It's his girlfriend. It's his girlfriend.
It's a bad thing, but no, I don't think it's right that they give her a belt. If she's good and she's quality, which we know she is, you put her in there with somebody else that's on the same level as her, and you have them do a title fight. So we find out who is going to be the true champion. You shouldn't bring somebody in and then hand them a belt when too many people out there are busting every day, blood, sweat, and tears, trying to get a chance just to have an opportunity to fight for it. So good move by bringing her, bad move by giving her the belt.
Yeah, and I agree. What's going to happen when she loses to Liz Carmouche?
You think that's going to happen?
I honestly do.
You're rooting for her, but you really think that?
Well, actually, I'm going to be honest with you. I am not rooting for Carmouche to beat Rousey because of anything against Rousey. I'm rooting for Carmouche to win because it's going to show that they shouldn't have put the belt on Ronda Rousey.
A little salt in the wound.
Yeah, and both females are talented fighters. They've done great things for the sport. I respect them both. I love female fighters. As you know, with the XFC, we always feature female fighters. We've been doing it for a long time, and it's great. But on the same note, there's that piece. Again, she's a paper champion right now, and if you're that good and you're worthy of the championship, and me personally, if I were Ronda Rousey, which I'm not because I'm ugly and I can't fight, but if I were...
You definitely don't have her legs.
No, I don't have her legs, but I was told I got her butt, but you can see that later, kids, on the website only. But no, if I were a fighter and I was being moved over to another organization, I would be the guy that said, don't give me that title. I appreciate the respect you're showing me for what I've accomplished, but you know what? I'd like my first fight to be a title fight against whoever your number one contender is, and let me fight and let me show the people that I deserve to be called a champion.
Well, it's easy to say that that's what you'd like to do, but to be handed, it's a heck of an opportunity. So, congratulations to her, and we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out.
Yep, definitely gonna have to wait and see how it all plays out. That'll be UFC 157, the first time a female has ever fought in the UFC, and they're headlining. And I will say this: if Rousey doesn't win, you will never see another female main event in the UFC ever again. Mark my words, you heard it right here on Cage with Christopher James. Now let's get bumping here because we're running up against the clock. The XFC. I work for the XFC, you guys all know that, so you guys might say I'm a little biased, but the XFC has been doing great things. They did 8 shows last year, and they're going to continue to grow. They're working on another TV deal with a bigger network to go in conjunction with Access TV, which is their home. And one of the things they're doing, and again, female fighters, they're opening up an atomweight division now, and they've added some really talented atomweight 105s, dude.
Wow.
I can't wait to see 105-pound girls get inside the cage. But then there's guys like Nick Newell, won the world title,
Huge
and you know, we're looking right now to see what his next title defense is going to be. Scott Holtzman and Jason Hicks are going to be fighting in February for the #1 contender spot. Now, Scott Holtzman is a bull. He is the most overpowering 155er I've ever seen live in person. I mean, and he just goes at it. He goes to work. He's composed, and yet he's young in the sport. Jason Hicks is 5-0, great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, and he's definitely heralded. He's ranked in the top 50 of fighters as far as the whole southern part and the eastern coast of the United States. Holtzman, he's ranked higher than Holtzman, but Holtzman, in my opinion, brings a lot of power, and I don't know if Hicks is going to be handle Holtzman's power. You've seen them both fight. What do you think?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm just anxious to wait and see who's going to be able to face Nick Newell and how that fight's going to come out. This guy is kind of taking the MMA world by storm. It's a great story, and I'm just kind of following it like the rest of the media, just waiting to see where it's going to go. So I'm just anxious to watch the next fight from him.
You know, it's funny you say you're following right like the rest of the media, but you know, us working in media and journalism and me being the cage announcer for the XFC, that's all cool. But honestly, I'm just a fan because the guy, you know, he's got 8 first-round submissions, dude. With you know, one arm, and he's got 9. He's 9-0, world title. Big things coming up for Nick Newell. Like I said, the female division XFC is coming up. There's going to be a big TV deal coming up, and I can't announce it yet because I've been sworn to secrecy until. Tell us! I've been sworn to secrecy by John Prisco until it does come up. However, I did speak to John Prisco right before we filmed the show, and John said, keep your eye on everything XFC because there's a few big things, and there's a couple of surprises that you guys are going to be blown away. And I'm going to tell you, when John told me, I was actually floored. I almost passed out because I didn't expect it. But you guys are going to see what's coming up for XFC in 2013. Did we miss anything?
I think we covered it all.
You know, before I forget, Invicta. We forgot Invicta. Sure. Invicta, the female promotion, they're doing big things. They still don't have a TV deal, but they are working on something. But the cool thing is they got their event coming up. They've signed Bas Rutten, King Mo, and Julie Kedzie as their commentary team.
Really?
Yeah, and it's really interesting because that brings a whole new dynamic. And even though they're still online broadcasting, people are going to tune in just to listen to Bas, I think, and that's going to help them grow their viewership. And I think what they're doing for MMA is a good thing, giving the ladies a permanent home to fight in. I only hope that people don't look at them as a gimmick and, you know, blow them off at some point and they go to the wayside, because I think it's a good thing, a good proving ground for female fighters.
Well, they're bringing a lot of attention to the sport for the females, and they're definitely giving the females a platform that they can start shooting for themselves. And again, they've been around before the UFC opened their female division. So I would see Invicta as a stepping stone, as a platform for the females to get into the UFC, to maybe get a shot at that hand-me-down title.
That hand-me-down title. I like the way you referred to that hand-me-down title. Hey, she got the hand-me-down title of the UFC. Well, listen up, y'all. This is Cage Side with Christopher James. For my good friend Dion DeLauder, I am Christopher James, and you're Cage Side. Walter's Press Box, Tampa's #1 sports bar for over 20 years. The Press Box, Tampa's favorite place to watch the big game and party. We show all the NFL games and every other major sporting event in the world, including MMA. .222 South Dale Mabry Highway, Tampa, Florida.
Come on down and see us at the press box.
Do you need a criminal attorney? Call Eric J. Herman, attorney at law. Non-attorney spokesperson.
Go up the deuces. There you go, baby.